Welcome to Creepy, the best horror storyteller on YouTube.
Part 1.
I never believed in ghosts, spirits, or anything supernatural. I was a rational, logical, and scientific person. I always looked for a reasonable explanation for everything that happened in the world. That was until I encountered the shadow people. The shadow people are dark, humanoid figures that appear in the corner of your eye, or in the dark, or sometimes even in broad daylight. They have no discernible features, no eyes, no mouth, no nose. They are just silhouettes of pure blackness. Some people say they are harmless, some say they are evil, some say they are interdimensional beings, some say they are demons. I don't know what they are, but I know they are real. And they are terrifying. It all started when I moved to a new apartment in Chicago. I was a freelance journalist, working on various projects for different clients. I needed a change of scenery, and I found a cheap and spacious apartment in an old building downtown. It seemed like a great deal, and I didn't mind the slightly run-down condition of the place. I thought it had character. I moved in on a sunny Saturday, and spent the day unpacking and arranging my stuff. I felt happy and excited about my new home. I didn't notice anything strange or unusual about the apartment, except for one thing. There was a small closet in the hallway, next to the bathroom. It had a wooden door with a metal knob and a padlock on it. The landlord had given me the keys to the apartment, but not to the closet. He said it was off limits, and that he stored some personal items there. He said he would come by once a month to check on them, and that I should never try to open the closet or tamper with the lock. He said it was for my own safety. I thought it was weird, but I didn't question him. I figured he had some valuable or sentimental things in there, and he didn't want anyone to touch them. I respected his privacy, and I left the closet alone. I didn't even look at it. I focused on the rest of the apartment, which was cozy and comfortable. I liked it a lot. The first night, I slept well. I didn't have any dreams, or nightmares, or anything. I woke up feeling refreshed and ready to start the day. I made myself some coffee, and sat down at my laptop to work on an article. I was in a good mood, and I enjoyed the view from the window. I could see the busy streets, the tall buildings, the blue sky. It was a beautiful day. I worked for a few hours, and then I decided to take a break. I got up from my desk and stretched my arms. I walked to the kitchen and grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge. I drank some, and then I headed to the bathroom. I passed by the closet, and I glanced at it. I don't know why, but I felt a sudden curiosity about what was inside. I wondered what the landlord was hiding in there. I wondered if it was something illegal, or dangerous, or weird. I wondered if I should try to open it, just to take a peek. I shook my head and dismissed the thought. I reminded myself that it was none of my business, and that I had agreed to leave it alone. I respected the landlord's wishes, and I didn't want to cause any trouble. I walked past the closet and reached for the bathroom door. That's when I saw it. A shadow. A dark, human-shaped shadow, standing in the corner of the hallway, next to the closet. It was about 6 feet tall, and it had no features. It was just a black outline, a void of light. It was facing me, but it had no eyes. It was staring at me, but it had no expression. It was silent, but it had a presence. It was there, and it was real. I froze, and I felt a surge of fear. I couldn't move, or speak, or scream. I could only stare back at the shadow and feel its cold, dark gaze. I felt a chill run down my spine, and a knot in my stomach. I felt a pressure in my chest and a tightness in my throat. I felt a panic in my mind and a dread in my soul. I don't know how long I stood there, locked in a silent standoff with the shadow. It felt like an eternity, but it was probably only a few seconds. Then, the shadow moved. It moved towards me, slowly and steadily. It moved with a purpose and a malice. It moved with an intent and a hunger. It moved to get me. I snapped out of my trance, and I reacted. I turned around, and I ran. I ran back to the living room, and I grabbed my phone. I ran to the door, and I tried to open it. It was locked. I fumbled with the keys, and I dropped them. I bent down to pick them up, and I looked behind me. The shadow was there, in the doorway. It had followed me, and it had blocked my exit. It was still moving towards me, slowly and steadily. It was still staring at me, coldly and darkly. It was still silent, but it had a message. It wanted me. I screamed, and I threw my phone at it. It hit the wall, and it bounced off. It didn't affect the shadow at all. It passed through it, like it was nothing. The shadow kept moving, and it reached me. It touched me, and I felt it. It was cold, and it was hard. It was like ice, and it was like steel. It was like death, and it was like pain. It grabbed me, and it squeezed me. It crushed me, and it hurt me. It invaded me, and it consumed me. It took me, and it made me. It made me one of them.
Part 2.
I don't know how long I was in the shadow realm. It felt like forever, but it was probably only a few minutes. It was a place of darkness, and coldness, and emptiness. It was a place of horror, and pain, and madness. It was a place of no escape, and no hope, and no mercy. It was a place of them. The shadow people. They were everywhere, and they were many. They were like a swarm, and they were like a hive. They were like a plague, and they were like a curse. They were like a nightmare, and they were like a reality. They were like me, and they were like nothing. They had no individuality, and no personality. They had no emotions, and no thoughts. They had no purpose, and no will. They had no life, and no soul. They had only one thing: hunger. They hungered for more. More shadows, more darkness, more coldness. More horror, more pain, more madness. More victims, more prey, more food. More me, more them, more nothing. They fed on me, and they fed on each other. They tore me apart, and they tore themselves apart. They consumed me, and they consumed themselves. They devoured me, and they devoured themselves. They became me, and they became themselves. They became nothing. I felt everything, and I felt nothing. I felt their teeth, and their claws, and their tentacles. I felt their mouths, and their eyes, and their holes. I felt their hunger, and their rage, and their lust. I felt their fear, and their pain, and their despair. I felt their joy, and their pleasure, and their ecstasy. I felt their nothing. I lost everything, and I gained nothing. I lost my body, and my mind, and my spirit. I lost my memories, and my dreams, and my hopes. I lost my identity, and my personality, and my individuality. I lost my emotions, and my thoughts, and my will. I lost my life, and my soul, and myself. I lost my nothing. I became everything, and I became nothing. I became a shadow, and a darkness, and a coldness. I became a horror, and a pain, and a madness. I became a victim, and a prey, and a food. I became a shadow person, and a nothing, and a them. I became nothing. And then, I woke up. I woke up in the hospital, surrounded by doctors and nurses and machines. I woke up in the real world, surrounded by light and warmth and life. I woke up in the human world, surrounded by people and sounds and colors. I woke up in the normal world, surrounded by logic and reason and science. I woke up in the sane world, surrounded by reality and truth and facts. I woke up and I didn't believe it. I thought it was a dream and a nightmare and a hallucination. I thought it was a delusion and a fantasy and a lie. I thought it was a trick and a trap and a test. I thought it was a mistake and a coincidence and a miracle. I thought it was anything and everything but the truth. But it was the truth. The doctors told me what happened. They told me that I was found unconscious in my apartment by the landlord. They told me that he had heard me screaming and banging on the door. They told me that he had called 911 and broken the door. They told me that he had saved me and brought me to the hospital. They told me that he had saved my life. They also told me what they found in my apartment. They told me that they found a small closet next to the bathroom. They told me that it had a wooden door with a metal knob and a padlock. They told me that they had opened it and looked inside. They told me that they had found something and nothing and everything. They found the shadow people. They found hundreds of them and thousands of them and millions of them. They found them in the closet and in the walls and in the ceiling. They found them in the furniture and in the appliances and in the electronics. They found them in the books and in the clothes and in the food. They found them in everything and nothing and me. They found them dead and alive and undead. They found them burned and frozen and rotten. They found them mutilated and deformed and fused. They found them twisted and warped and corrupted. They found them infected and diseased and cursed. They found them dead and nothing and them. They found them and they didn't understand. They didn't understand what they were and where they came from and how they got there. They didn't understand what they wanted and what they did and what they were capable of. They didn't understand what they meant and what they implied and what they revealed. They didn't understand anything and everything and nothing. They didn't understand me. They didn't understand why I was alive and why I was sane and why I was normal. They didn't understand why I had no injuries and no scars and no marks. They didn't understand why I had no infections and no diseases and no curses. They didn't understand why I had no memories and no dreams and no hopes. They didn't understand why I had no emotions and no thoughts and no will. They didn't understand why I had no life and no soul and no self. They didn't understand why I had no nothing. They didn't understand that I was one of them. The shadow people. I am one of them, and I am nothing, and I am everything. I am a shadow, and a darkness, and a coldness. I am a horror, and a pain, and a madness. I am a victim, and a prey, and a food. I am a shadow person, and a nothing, and a them. I am nothing, and I am hungry. I hunger for more. More shadows, more darkness, more coldness. More horror, more pain, more madness. More victims, more prey, more food. More me, more them, more nothing. I hunger for you. You are my next target, and my next meal, and my next nothing. You are my next shadow, and my next darkness, and my next coldness. You are my next horror, and my next pain, and my next madness. You are my next victim, and my next prey, and my next food. You are my next shadow person, and my next nothing, and my next them. You are my next nothing, and I am coming for you. I am coming for you, and I am near, and I am here. I am coming for you, and I am fast, and I am slow. I am coming for you, and I am silent, and I am loud. I am coming for you, and I am hidden, and I am visible. I am coming for you, and I am nothing, and I am everything. I am coming for you, and I am in the corner of your eye, or in the dark, or sometimes even in broad daylight. I am coming for you, and I have no features, no eyes, no mouth, no nose. I am coming for you, and I am a silhouette of pure blackness, a void of light. I am coming for you, and I am facing you, but I have no eyes. I am coming for you, and I am staring at you, but I have no expression. I am coming for you, and I am silent, but I have a presence. I am coming for you, and I am there, and I am real. I am coming for you, and I am the shadow person.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more similar horror stories.